I'm Maria.
I'm Penny.
And I'm Melanie.
And we're the girls. I wanted to talk about a story that's been in the news kind of recently, and that is that a Disney Channel star, one that you don't normally hear about too much. She's kind of got a really good kind of squeaky clean type image and seems normal. Demi Lovato has checked herself into a rehab facility, and she's citing it as like emotional and physical issues.
You know, I do know that being a child star is really a tough thing. I mean, I always wanted to be a child star, so, but you know, I really did from the time I was little. But I know that when you look back on all the people that have grown up were child stars, most of them don't go on to have big careers and be successful. A lot of them have really kind of troubled lives and kind of fade away, and then you hear about them 20 years later.
Back in the days before this age of therapy and television and life coaches and all this stuff, you just had to kind of get through and deal. I feel like people...
Or your family helped you.
Yeah, I feel like people...
Or your church. But look at Lindsay Lohan and, you know, Paris Hilton. The ones who were like really out of control with drug abuse, alcohol abuse, all these issues. And then they do go to rehab, or they need to go to rehab. And they wait so long, and then, you know, they get in trouble with the law, and then it's like, oh, let me go to rehab now.
But I think the truth is rehab can only do so much.
That's true.
I mean, you can go back, you can go in and out like so many of them do, but it has to be something that
it's up to you.
It's up to you, and it's funny because my son was telling me about Eminem. I do not like hip hop music. I'm sorry, but he was talking about Eminem, who really had problems with drugs and alcohol, and he has now a daughter. Yeah, and he's turned his life around.
If you listened to any of his music in the early, I mean, he had a lot of hate, a lot of rage. There were some personal issues he had to deal with, and he dealt with it in his music. So his music now is a lot more, you know, positive as far as that's concerned.
Did you hear whether he was in rehab? I don't remember.
I don't think so.
And I wonder too, when you were talking about the Disney girl, if they're in contract with this company, I mean, aren't people kind of keeping track of how people are doing that you know, work for them? I don't know.
Yes, I mean, you don't know how it handles it, and then you also think that maybe that adds some pressure to it. If you've got these contracts and these obligations, and people are pushing you because you become a dollar sign.
You're a commodity to them.
That's difficult. But I still go back to the whole idea of it. It's like this rehab and this self-help and all this stuff. Just it's like you were just saying that. You know, it doesn't necessarily solve the issue. You go back in and back in, and it has to come from inside that you really want to fix it. And is rehab being used kind of nowadays as just a Band-Aid on the situation? Because, if I go to rehab, I won't have to go to jail, or it'll help me, and people will feel like sorry for me.
Well, and even more than that, it's almost like for some people, like Lindsay Lohan, and some of them, it's like a status thing. Or what's the woman from England, Amy
Winehouse?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
She's like, you know, the rehab poster girl, and people.
She just said that song.
She's
a catchy
tune. And it's like, it's cool.
But
it's
see, part of that too is
rehab. It's
part of that
celebrity.
Right. Part of that too is you go to rehab for what, weeks, maybe a month. I don't know how long it is. If you look at the Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, their programs talk about
a higher power.
Right. So that is not possible to get clean without your higher power, whoever you call your higher power. They recognize them. So that if they try to do it and say, oh, I'll just go away and then come back and everything's solved, it's not going to work unless you get to the real part of you know your issue and you know, talk about your faith or think about your faith and how that, you know, impacts your life and your issues.
I don't think that all rehab programs have God as a part of it.
I doubt it. I don't either.
Exactly. Well, actually, they do have a reality show, the Dr. Drew.
Oh, yes.
And my daughter actually watched that. And I'm like, you're watching this show. I mean, and it's like it's really raw, some of the stuff that they deal with.
Sure.
But I mean, I guess in a way that sort of helps them to figure out exactly what do they do in rehab, because you don't hear about the actual steps that they take. Yeah, nobody knows unless you see a show like that, and even that it's kind of like played up for the cameras, and the celebrities are out of control. But you know, I think it really is important to have, you know, a relationship with God.
I agree.
And before rehab, that's what people leaned on.
Right.
You know, they would go and talk to their pastor.
You went to your church instead of the rehab
center. Or you get counseling from your pastor. I mean, that I think is the core, is really the solution to it.
Right.
And then it's an ongoing journey. You can't just say, oh, I'll go away for a month or two and come back and hey, I'm not on crack. I'm not an alcoholic.
Yeah,
you still are.
And I think it really is an epidemic, the whole rehab
I
thing.
think so too.
Even Tiger Woods went for his sexual addiction.
And that was addiction. I mean, he may have had, clearly he had some issues with some type of addiction. That doesn't excuse his behavior.
No, absolutely.
But it's just, but that's what I'm saying. You said a Band-Aid. It's like, okay, I have trouble, go to rehab. Like that's the solution.
Exactly.
But clearly it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully it helps some people, and like you said, it's good to try to get help for your problem.
Absolutely.
But I think it's become sort of a cliche and something that celebrities do, and they get in trouble, so they don't maybe have to face the criticism they would otherwise.
Please join us next time on The Girls.
Bye. Number three. Okay, wait, let me check. Because I felt like